Hello and welcome to another planning video. It's Marsha with Buy Sell Plan. Today we're going to recap the month of March and the first quarter of 2025 and then set new goals for April and the second quarter. So I've done a lot of this prep already because this video can be really long, so there's a lot of recapping involved. So if you watch my other videos, my other quarterly, monthly recap planning videos, you know that I use a notebook and I draft it all here first and then put it in my planner. So I've got my stickers out as well for doing my action plan for April. And let's get started. So first things first, I grab my planning tasks. So we're going to be doing our monthly planning right now. And then as far as the quarterly, I don't have quarterly on here because it's pretty much the same thing because we're recapping year to date here. It's part of the monthly planning. So yeah, that's why I don't have one. Okay, so let's go to my goals tab here. And we're going to recap the month of March for my activity numbers as well as my goals. And we're going to go through the goals that I set for this quarter and see how I did. All right, so probably going to be a fair amount of shuffling here. I'm trying to get everything in frame. All right, so first up is to recap last month. So we're going to start with last month first before we recap the quarter. So my goals for last month were, for my real estate business, was consistency, doing calls twice a week, daily check-ins with my husband and business partner, and then doing 8 CMAs. And then my second main goal was for Buy Sell Plan was to build momentum with finishing inserts, posting my first blog and filming a series video. And then my third main focus here was in my wellness, or for my wellness, was to do like a reset, doing strength, 2 strength workouts a week, 2 to 3 mobility workouts a week, and then focusing on my diet, 40% coming from carbohydrates, 30 from protein, 30 from fat. So let's recap that. Now, for my first goal with consistency, I wanted to do calls twice a week, and I did a total of 5 call sessions. So it should have been 8 call sessions, so I did not hit that goal. Let me grab a pink. You know what I've realized through doing this is I need a red ink pen. Believe it or not, I do not have any red ink pens. So I need one. You know, like when you're in school where anything that's incorrect is in red? That's what I'm finding I'm needing. All right, so yeah, total of 5 call sessions, and the goal would have been 8. Daily check-ins, yes, we did really good with that. And my goal with that, for those that haven't watched my setup video for March, is that, so my husband and I, we are both realtors and we both work on Buy Sell Plans. So we're business partners. And as well as being married. And what we found was, so far, like for the year before March started, so for January and February, that he has his agenda of what he needs to get done. I have mine. We just, you know, after our morning routine and breakfast or whatever, we just start with our day. And then we find things were falling through the cracks because we weren't touching base to see who was doing what. And I think from just being off the majority of December, we just kind of got out of our rhythm. So yeah, so that was a goal for March, was to make sure that we have those check-ins, and that worked really well. We were really on top of our businesses last month. And then I wanted to do 8 CMAs. And what I mean by that is 8 CMAs for potential people that potentially will be buying or selling within the next year, just to keep them informed on the market and make sure that I'm top of mind, so that when the time does come for them to be ready to buy or sell, I'm the first person to think of, because I've been keeping in touch with them and keeping them informed on the market. So it ended up being a very busy month, and I didn't, other than appointments that I had to prepare for, I did not do my 8 CMAs. So we did 3 because we had 3 listing appointments in March. So yeah, I would say no, we did not hit that goal. Okay, and then for momentum, I wanted to finish inserts. We did add a few. So we added KPIs in the half letter, like the neutral version, so it's not specific to real estate agents. So we got that in the shop. We realized that we were missing a few inserts in the half letter size. So that has been our focus, is getting those in the shop. So on top of the KPIs, so we did the half letter, like I said, we did the master task list. I had some requests for the master task list to be it's an individual insert, not attached to the monthlies. All right, so we did do that, and that is in the shop. Should be in all sizes. Health notes, I'm not sure if I've shared this with you guys yet, so please forgive me if this is, I was gonna say if this is a rerun for you. If you have seen this. But yeah, health notes. This is in the shop as well. And then expense tracker. We did that as well. All right. So those are the main inserts that we did. I have a whole list in here that I keep private because not everything it's just like a brain dump of all the inserts we want to make. So just in case some don't make it to the shop, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. So that's stays private for now. But we have a lot more that we want to do. But before we start making new ones, we want to make sure that the ones that we have created are in all sizes. So that's what we did in the month of March as far as inserts. So did we finish everything? No, we did not. I guess I should be checking this off as I go, shouldn't I? You know, but we went through and did like a very detailed inventory, and we have it all in here, so we know exactly what needs to be done. All right, and then next up was to post my first blog. I didn't do that. And then film my first series, didn't do that. And then for my reset for wellness, my goal was 2 strength workouts a week, and I did not do 2. I did 5 strength workouts. The goal was 8. So this is for strength and mobility. What I did on my tracker was I did a circle, like a dot, for mobility or strength. So because they kind of go hand in hand. And then this heart was for cardio. So I just did March movement instead of like a habit tracker for strength, and then another one for mobility. You know, I just didn't want to have too many. So I just did March movement just to track in total how often I was active this month. So that's what I did there. So in terms of strength and mobility, in total, it was 5 times in the month, and it really should have been 8 if I did 2 times a week. And then focusing on my diet, I've been doing so good with that. Yeah. Okay. Now there are some reasons why with the strength I hadn't been 100% consistent, and that is because I went to a physiotherapy appointment on this day, the 18th, and it was my first one in a year. 18th, maybe, yes, it was the 18th. Or maybe it was soon, it was, hang on, let me just check. Was it this previous Tuesday? No, it was the 18th. So I hadn't been in a year, and oh my gosh, he did a lot of active release therapy on my hips, my hip flexors, the psoas muscles. If you're familiar with the body, you'll know what I'm talking about. I was too sore to do any weights. So that was the 18th. So I did do weights that morning. I did full body, shoulders and legs. And then I just did cardio those 3 days. I was so sore that it hurt, for my low back, it really hurt me to bend over and even put my shoes on. So there's no way I was lifting weights. So I just took it easy and just walked on the treadmill, like slowly, like not fast, no incline or anything like that. Still got a good sweat, but I didn't overdo it. And then just did my deep stretches. Yeah, so, and I remember I did mobility that day. So that's what kind of got in the way of me doing a lot of strength workouts. was for how sore I was from that physiotherapy appointment. And I mean, which I did ask him about it because I saw him the next week and he was like, it's been a while, and they did it like we did a really good session. He did a lot of deep like ART, that it's normal. But then I had my a follow-up appointment a week later and I was totally fine. So yeah, not in as much pain. So that was nice. That was good. Like it really affected me. Yeah, so that's what got in the way with that. And it's funny, you know, when you set goals and do you ever find that you set goals and you're so motivated and excited, but then life just takes you in a completely different direction? It's like, how did things just fall off the rails so quick? And that's just what happened. I also this day had a naturopath appointment as well. So that was a really busy day. So it was a lot of sitting in appointments and then the driving, you know, plus work things. So yeah, no wonder my low back was really, really sore. Okay, so that's how I did with that. And now let's go through my activity numbers. My so for March, I did 56 contacts. The goal was 230, so I missed that goal by 174. 6 out of 38 leads, so minus 32. I booked 8 appointments. The goal was 4, so plus 4, and went on 6 of those 8 appointments, so plus 3. The goal was 3, and then 3 signed an agreement with us to work with us, and then no houses. We didn't sell any houses in March. All right. And now let's go through the first quarter. So if we were to look at my goals for this quarter, which are all right here, let's see how I did with that. Trying to get all of this on screen here. Oh, those are Q2 goals. Let's see. All right, I've got my activity numbers here, but I didn't write anything out with this here. Read 3 times a week. I did not read 3 times a week. When I was really sore from my low back there, I just hot pad, lay on the couch, like I didn't get into any reading. Not a whole lot anyways. Okay, so I didn't do any habit trackers for the month of January, and I can say that I don't even think I read in January because it was a really busy month. So for February, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times I read in February, and then March, 8 times. So 18 times total this year. So yeah, didn't hit that goal because if I'm reading 3 times a week, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So that'd be 18 times, wouldn't it? So 8 out of 18. Wait. All right, so I read a total of 18 times, and had I done 3 times a week, January, February, and March, I would have read 36 times. So I didn't hit that goal. Monthly market minute market update. I didn't do one in January, but I did one in February, and I will be doing one in March. So I didn't do a market update for the month of January, but in March, beginning of March, I did do a February recap video, and then next week, so first week of April, I will be doing an update for the month of March. Once we get the real estate stats from our board office, which is usually in the first 5 days of the month. So I didn't do all 3 months, but I will have done 2, and I didn't get any, storytelling content like in my real estate channel. I just haven't been motivated, and it hasn't been a priority to sit in front of the camera like face to video, and you know, just the planning. It's like it requires planning and thought, and I just haven't had the time. And then my human design, I did not do that weekly. Habit trackers, not January, but I did February and I did March. So not all 3 months. Haven't developed our content calendar yet or an exercise tracker, and I haven't filmed my first series. Didn't do too well. That's okay. That is okay. Let's look at my numbers for the first quarter. All right, so these goals here are based on last year's, when I did my business planning for 2025, it's based on last year's conversion numbers, okay? So 278 contacts at the end of the first quarter, I should be at 690, so missed my goal by 412. And then for leads, 21 leads, the goal is 114. So minus 93, 15 out of 12 appointments booked, so plus 3, 15 out of 9 appointments held, plus 4, and then 10 out of 6 contracts signed, so plus 4, and 3 out of 6 transactions done, minus 3. What I did was I went through and did my business plan. If you remember from last month's update video, I shared how I plugged in my conversion rates for January and February. Let me show you. For January and February, just to see how my numbers changed. And they went down significantly from what my goals are for 2025 based on last year's conversion rates, but I thought it was a little bit too soon to make any changes. But now that I have 3 full months of data and of me 100% like full-time doing real estate, no vacation time, what my actual conversions are, I redid my numbers. So I just went through these formulas. So these are these are all last year's conversions. I didn't change it in here, but I changed it in my notebook. Okay, so I'm just going to share that with you. So these are 2025 conversions. So basically my goal is changing to 19 transactions instead of 24. Okay. And 22 contracts signed instead of 27, 27 appointments to go on instead of 40, 28 appointments that I need to book instead of 46, 280 leads instead of 460, and then 1,680 contacts instead of 2,760. Okay, so these are based on last year's conversion, so I redid it based on my numbers for 2025 so far. And then when I put my numbers in here, I did them based on the new numbers. So that's why you'll see that they are different. Okay, oops, that's the year to date. So here's March. So you can see my goal was 230 contacts a month, 38 leads, 4 appointments booked, 3 appointments held, 3 contracts signed, and then 2 firm deals. So this is based on my actual numbers for this year so far. So really for March, my contacts were 56 out of 140, so minus 84 instead of minus 174. And then my leads, 6 out of 23, so minus 17 instead of minus 32. And then appointments booked, 8 out of 2 instead, and then I'm plus 6 instead of plus 4. And then appointments held, 6 out of 2, plus 4 instead of plus 3, and so on. All right. And then for my year to date, same thing. So yeah, in case you may not even notice, but I'm just sharing it with you just in case you find this helpful for yourself. Especially if you didn't track your conversion rates last year. Now that hopefully you have been tracking for January, February, and March. And so now you'll have some data that you can go by that's accurate. All right, so year to date, I am behind in my contacts by 142. You can see here at the end of February, I was behind by 238. These were based on, like I said, like last year's conversion rates. So year to date, I'm minus 142 for contacts, minus 49 for leads, but I'm plus 8 for appointments booked and appointments held, and then plus 4 for contracts signed, and then minus 2 for firm deals. All right, so I'm doing a great job with booking appointments, going on appointments, and people signing on with us. But the transactions just haven't been happening yet. But we have 2 listings going on the market the first week of April, and I've just gone on a whole bunch of appointments. So as spring progresses, we will have more listings, and then these numbers will go up over time. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to help you out with that. Okay, so we got that part done, recapping current quarter and year to date, and then setting next month's goals. This is the fun part. I still do need to do my March review. I will do that a little later. I always forget to do that before I film. I don't know why. Starting a fresh page. How exciting. So I'll just be filling out this side. So I will set this aside. So what I'm going to do here is put in my Q2 goals here, my focus, and then setting my goals for April. And then I will be setting up my April action plan based on these goals and then breaking it down weekly. Okay, so that's my method. I mean, you could just do this if you don't feel the need to do this, but I find this really helpful because this allows me to really elaborate on these goals. So they work hand in hand. Okay, so far I have for my quarter two goals is quarter two is all about taking back control of my health so that I have the stamina to build off of quarter one momentum and reach my goals. I built such great momentum in the first quarter of this year. I feel so good. I've started stronger than I have in a while in our real estate business outside of the pandemic. The pandemic was an anomaly because that was just the market was absolutely crazy. You didn't have to do much to make things happen. So it's definitely a different market now. So yeah, I feel really good about that. And I want to continue to, I want to build off of that. I built the momentum. Now I want to continue. I should say I establish momentum. Does that make sense? And I want to build off of that. And so that we just soar. I mean, it would be so great to accomplish my goal by the end of the second quarter, because let me tell you, cottage season is coming and we want to spend a lot of time at our cottage. So we don't want to be driving back and forth unless we absolutely have to. Like, I don't want to be hustling. So I want to do it all now. But taking care of my health, it will allow me to do that. And that's why I set health goals first, because I'm always setting goals for business and tracking and measuring that. And it's so easy to forget about your health and wellness goals. But for me, they are so intertwined. I'm not the kind of person that can let my health go and then, but still thrive in business. It just doesn't work for me because my system is so sensitive and I get tired easier than, most people. And I just don't have that same stamina that other people have. So yeah, I need more rest. But when I'm on, and I can accomplish so much that can take other people days to accomplish. I can do it in like a few hours. But then I need to rest, like I'll crash. So my health is just number one. And having seeing my naturopathic doctor. So in March, I talked to my menopause doctor and my naturopathic doctor just about my treatment. So for those of you who are new, I'm in perimenopause and it has been kicking my butt. It like just hit me out of nowhere and it's been kicking my butt. So I started HRT, so progesterone to help with the hot flashes and sleep, and then estrogen to help with I had full body arthralgia, which is like full body joint pain. And it helped with that a lot. But what happened was I gained weight. And even though the doctor said estrogen does not, you don't gain weight from estrogen, and it doesn't necessarily help you lose weight either. But I did gain weight and I retained so much water. And yeah, so, anyways, I have stopped the estrogen and I'm less puffy and I am losing weight. So I don't know. That's a sign. Everyone's different. I'm not giving any advice here. It's completely individual. But I was on HRT for June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 9 months. So I did give it a good, I was on the estrogen for 9 months. So I did give it a good go. So this is what I mean by taking control of my health, is really being more in tune with my body and not so much like work, and mentally, focused on producing and work, and taking more time to rest, and just be with myself through meditation, through exercise, and sweating daily. Both my naturopath and my physiotherapist talked about how, like, I'm doing a lot of strength training, but they talked about the cardio. Like, it's really important for me to sweat out the toxins, because inflammation is a part of perimenopause as well, and I definitely have that. So yeah, anyways, that could be a whole other video, but yeah, so that's what I mean by that, taking control of my health. And it's been almost 2 weeks. Yes, this coming Tuesday will be 2 weeks since I've been off the estrogen, and I can't even tell you how good I'm feeling. Yeah, anyways, okay. And then my focus is here. I wrote all my focuses down here, and then I'm going to set my top 3 goals. And some of these might be in there, they might not, but that's why I do goal planning every month, because I will pull from here to make sure that I am accomplishing what I want to accomplish. So they kind of are in here too, like for wellness, it's like a whole reset. And then for real estate, operations, and then for buy sell plan, it's really like the consulting that I want to get to. So I'm going to write all that down, and then I will share it with you when I'm done. All right, so for wellness, I have my reset. So detoxing through doing focusing on whole foods, like reducing inflammation. And for some reason, my system has a hard time metabolizing, if for the lack of better words, estrogen. So I'm on a liver detox, and I'm doing that most days of the week. And then focusing on whole foods, which also helps. And then sweating, ideally daily, but I wrote 3 to 5 times because based on my schedule, it's not always realistic for me to do it daily. Doing some form of sweat outside of the strength training. Yeah, so that's the goal there. And of course, staying hydrated. So lots of herbal teas and water. And then for operations, so for my real estate business, so operations, so database cleanup and organize. I've been doing that this year so far, and I've realized, wow, I have kind of, it got away from us for a little while. So so that requires, making sure that everyone is tagged properly in terms of like all the different categories that we have. I'm not going to get into that because it could be different for everybody based on what your business is. But yeah, making sure that our database, cleaning it up, getting rid of dead leads, and if people have changed their phone number and they're no longer a good lead, that type of thing. So just getting rid of those and just organizing everything. And then market intel. So I do my market intel a lot. Like, I'm looking at stats, but I want to do more educational and sharing it through my database and social media. I started to do that in follow-up emails this past quarter, where basically the market intel and the notes that I would make while I'm doing my market intel, I put it into, like, I made it into an email so that I'm sharing the information to people. It's too much to leave for a voice message. If I'm speaking to people, of course, I'm able to, verbally tell them and answer their questions. But if I'm not, I still want to make sure I get the information out. So I'm doing that through email. And then I want to do more through social media. I used to do it all the time. And I don't know if I lost my passion for it or, yeah. So anyways, I want to get back into that. And then stronger pre-qualification. So we've gone on a few appointments in the last couple of months where I didn't qualify. I do all the sales. My husband does all the administrative things, all the back end stuff for our business. And I'm like the face of the business, and I do all of the sales stuff. And we've gone on some appointments where after the fact, I realized I could have qualified that better. and like more efficiently and saved time. You know, there were a couple of wasted appointments where it's like, why are we even here? Right. So I need to do, I guess, just out of practice. I don't know. I've been doing sales for like 30 years. And I don't know. Maybe it's a perimenopause thing where I kind of lost some confidence or what have you. But, anyways, I just feel so awakened now and my eyes are wide open and I'm able to reflect and go, I should have qualified that better. I should have asked this. I should have asked that, you know, when I was booking the appointment to make sure it was even worth our time going. Anyhow, and then for buy sell plan, I didn't have like a specific focus for buy sell plan, so that's why I just wrote it down again. But consulting, I want to focus on getting that up and running. I'm almost there. So I want to do planner consultations because I have people who reach out a lot that say they want to get into paper planning. They'll buy a planner and you know they'll use it for a couple weeks and then they stop using it because they, I don't know, either lose the motivation or just can't stick with it. But also people who do plan and want to be more functional and more intentional. And then people who ask me questions about business, like they're starting a business or they're in a business and you know they don't know how to track and measure goals. I get asked all the time. Probably my number one question is, how do you know how many appointments you need to book? How do you know how many people you need to talk to? So I want to start consulting services to help people with those things. So I want to get that up and running definitely by the end of the second quarter. And then of course our shop, all things shop, making sure all the inserts like we have in here, all sizes, and then creating more inserts to help people that are functional, not just for business, but in day-to-day life. I have so many ideas. And then strategic promotional type videos. I don't do that enough, like to promote my inserts and you know how functional they are. So yeah, I want to do more of that. So those are my goals for April and for the second quarter. Hope this is making sense for you guys. Like I said, reach out if you have questions. Okay, so next up, so let's see where we are for monthly planning. I recapped last month, recapped the current quarter, which was quarter one, and then year to date, which is the same, and then set next month's goals. Did that. Now it's time to schedule my month. So I will be taking April out to do my action plan. I did schedule my month. I have so much going on. April's going to be a very busy month. I had to get it out on paper and out of my iCal, because you know, if you're into paper planning, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, nothing beats seeing it laid out like this versus on a computer. And this just gives me peace of mind. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, I think I have another appointment I need to add in there, but no, I think I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my goals right here, and I'm going to do my action plan. All right, so next up here is scheduling my month, so doing my action plan and completing my master task list, which I did start to put some tasks on there. I'm gonna put this here so that you guys can see. No, I'm right-handed, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna speed this part up, okay? So I'm gonna write down my Q2 goals, and then my goals for April, and then setting them up weekly. So my goals for April, I'm gonna break it down weekly, what I need to focus on. And not everything will go on there because when I do my weekly planning, I add to it, but just the kind of the main things. Okay, this is all I'm gonna do so far. I apologize for the lighting. I did put the brightness up on my phone. It is 6:45 right now, and it is a very cloudy, rainy day, like freezing rain. So it's been dark all day. Okay, so I elaborated a little bit here on my Q2 goals. I didn't have a whole lot of room here, so I was able to elaborate here. Q2 was all about taking back control of my health through detoxing, reducing inflammation, building strength and mobility, and my habits. This is how I'll be able to have the stamina to build off of Q1 momentum and reach my goals. And then I wrote my goals here. And then week one, I elaborated a lot, but I want to leave room to add things in week 2, 3, and 4 as the month progresses and based on what comes up. So far I do have castor oil. So my liver detox is castor oil pack that I put on my right side with a hot pad, and it helps to detox your liver because the heat helps your skin absorb the castor oil, and yeah, it helps to detox the liver. So doing that 5 times a week, and then herbal tea 5 times a week as well, and that's a combination of like nettle tea, green tea, licorice tea, yeah, based on how I'm feeling. So for example, if I have like a lightheaded, I have really low blood pressure, so I tend to get lightheaded a lot. So licorice tea helps me with that, helps to bring my blood pressure up. Yeah, and then if I have more pain, I'll do nettle tea and so on. Cardio 3 times a week. I want to do that all month long. And then database twice a week, really digging into my database. And March market update in the first week, of course, and then my March recap meeting with Ryan, where him and I recap the month in our department so that we each know what's going on. All right, so week 2, I just added in here practice my pre-qualification conversation if needed. Reviewing old scripts. I mean, I haven't had to do this in a long time, but I want to refresh on that. And then that's it for that so far. And then like I shared with you, my month is scheduled, and I'm just going to take a look and see if there are any tasks that I need to add in. Let's look at March master task list. As I'm filming this, it's March 30th. So some of these will be happening before the month is over, so I won't be needing to transfer those. Oh, I still haven't done my Nova Scotia memory journaling, and I went to Nova Scotia in October. Oh, I already wrote that down. I've printed out a whole bunch of pictures. Now I just need to sit down. I need the time to sit down and actually do it. I've been working on making my desk space cuter and more functional, but I'm not done yet. So I'm going to add that in, make desk more functional. Okay, that's all I can think of off the top of my head for now, but I will add on to this as the month goes on. Okay, and then last but not least is updating KPI trackers. I did do that. I did share my numbers with you guys. Here's my social media numbers here. So for Facebook, my followers stayed the same. And then for Instagram, I grew by 27 followers. So that's on my real estate channel. So that's good because I haven't had much growth. So I was glad to see that. I have been posting more, so that's probably helping. And then for YouTube, my goodness, I grew by 136 subscribers. I feel like that is my highest yet. Actually, I think it is. I think there was 1 month last year that I grew by 75 in 1 month, which was like, what? So 136 in 1 month. So thank you to those new subscribers. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you are enjoying your time here. And then for Buy Sell Plan Instagram, I grew by 78. And I think that might be, I'd have to check last year's numbers, but I think that's up there as one of the highest that I have grown on that channel. So yeah, I'm loving that. And then my activity numbers here for real estate, I just put those in there, even though they're here. You know, my numbers are here, but this is just the month actual versus goal. This year I don't have actual versus goal, just the actual, because I like as the year goes on to see how, you know, my months progress. I find it very interesting. Like, it doesn't necessarily compute as far as this many contacts will equal this. It just all depends on the flow of business that comes in. Some I have to work really hard for, and then there's a lot that is mostly referrals and past clients, which, you know, are gonna alter the numbers a little bit. But yeah, I find that interesting. That's it. That is this month's plan with me. This is how I recap my goals for the month, set new goals. It's very detailed, it's very functional. It's how my brain works, and it really helps me to stay on track with everything that I have going on. 2 businesses and lots of other things in life that I'm navigating. Oh, and then I have my first quarter recap up here too on the quarterly activity breakdown on my KPIs. So I put that in there as well. And then I made a note here that I changed my goals based on Q1 conversion rates. Average sale price and conversions are stronger than all of 2024 combined. So just so that over time, I remember why I did that. Okay, and then I have lots of new inserts in the shop, so please go and check. If you are in sales, I have closing trackers. All right, so how I'm using this is I put a sticker on the day that I have a closing, and then I put, for me it's real estate, so I put the address of the property, but it, you know, based on what you need it for, you can, you know, use this however makes sense for you. And I just put them at the tail end of my KPIs. I find that they're a really good complement, and I might include them in the KPIs for next year. And I have seller and buyer pipeline as well. This is helping me keep track of what I have coming up. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new here. And for those returning, welcome back. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Let me know how you did too with your goals for April and for the first quarter. Have you recapped everything? Are you on track? Did you have to make any adjustments? I would love to know. All right. Okay, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.